Hey folks, welcome back to My Kitten Reads, and this is my August wrap-up. I only read 6 things in August, and most of those were in the first week because of the booktubeathon, so you've probably seen a lot of these books before. It's been a bit of a busy month. I got sick, and then uni's kind of been kicking my butt because I got behind, and then house stuff happened as well, so I didn't get as much reading done as I would have liked, but I've made progress on a couple of on a couple of books that I haven't finished yet, but this is what I did finish in August. So, I start off with Siren Beat by Tansy, Rayner. This is a little novella. It's an urban fantasy set in Hobart, and it's about sirens and the people that look after Hobart, and particularly the woman who looks after Hobart by herself, mostly now that her sister has passed away in a fight a while back. And the sirens come to town and she has to defend Hobart from the damage that these sirens can do when they're hunting. It's set in clubs. A lot of the time the protagonist is very bitter and jaded because she's lost her sister and because she's injured, and she's permanently injured because the same fight in which she lost her sister, she got a magical injury. And then her sister's ex turns up again and she's just really jaded and bitter, but sort of really lovable anyway. It's like an older, darker Buffy in Hobart, basically. And it's about coming to terms with loss and grief and letting go. So that was really good. I also read Monica from Fear to Victory by Monica Seles and Nancy Ann Richardson. This is an autobiography of Monica Seles from the 90s, which is technically a reread, though I haven't reread it in years because it took me a long time to track it down. And it's got an interesting structure in that it flips back and forwards. It starts with her injury when she was, it starts describing what happened when she was attacked on court in Germany and stabbed. And then it goes back to the very earliest days starting to play tennis, and then it kind of flips back and forth between recovering from her injury and a lot of the mental health issues particularly that she went through, because she was terrified and she was depressed, and she's brutally honest about how dark things got for her. But then it will flip back to before the attack, and so it's really quite a fascinating read. Not a very long read, as thick as it looks. It's actually like very thick pages and very large type, but I really, really enjoyed it. Then I read Stardust by Neil Gaiman, and here's where all the Neil Gaiman fans are going to yell at me for my unpopular opinion. I prefer the movie. Basically, I've been trying to get into Neil Gaiman, and this, like Stardust, if there was a Neil Gaiman book that was for me, it would be Stardust. And it was fairly enjoyable, but I prefer the movie, to be honest. Like, I'd already seen the movie, but, some of the best things about the movie aren't actually in the book, or are in the book only briefly. And I don't know, Neil Gaiman just doesn't seem to work for me, which is kind of sad, but I'll cope. There's a bit of a fairy tale one, by the way, if you haven't read it. So there's a wall, and there's normal England on one side of the wall, and on the other side of the wall, there's fairyland, and there's a quest, and a fallen star, and romance, and swashbuckling, and stuff like that. So the next thing that I read was The Female Factory by Lisa L. Hannet and Angela Slatter. This is an Australian little collection. It's 4 short stories, and they're basically slightly science fictional stories in a variety of time periods, but all about reproduction in some way, and the kind of darker, more horrifying science fictional side of reproduction. So, for example, there's a story where people can get IVF, but they can choose how many babies that they keep, and the souls of the other babies go into technology like iPhones or iPods or, security systems or whatever. And it's about this woman who goes through this process and gets obsessed with trying to find where the souls of her other babies might go. What else? There's one about a surrogate who has a genetic quirk, which means she can carry multiple eggs. And so she's being exploited and being paid lots and lots of money, but still being exploited by this business, and her trying to make a decision about what she's going to do. What else? yeah, the other one the one that it gets its name from is actually in the past in Tasmania. There was a women's prison in Port Arthur called the Female Factory, and in this book, there's a whole bunch of kids that also live and work in the Female Factory, and they're trying to make themselves a parent, and it's very Frankenstein. So yeah, this was really good and really interesting. Not comfortable reading, but still really good. Then we have The World of Odysseus by Finley, and this was one of my textbooks basically. So it's basically looking at Homer's two poems, the Iliad and the Odyssey, and what Homer's world sort of tells us about ancient Greece and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I read the full thing for that for my classes. And then the final thing that I read, I don't have physically, and I finally finished Romancing the Inventor by Gail Carriger. So this is one of her little self-published novellas that she's doing, these romance novellas set in her Parasol verse. And so this is a lesbian romance between Imogen, a maid, and our favourite Madame Lavaux, the inventor, Genevieve. And it's sort of, yeah, it's a quirky, fun romance. I got stuck halfway through because I was trying to listen to it via audio, and I really shouldn't try to listen to things first via audio. I should only reread via audio, and I had to end up going and buying the ebook to finish it. But once I did buy the ebook, I just sped through the second half. It was funny. I laughed a lot. There were shenanigans. Fair warning, it's fairly adult rated for ladies loving ladies. And to be honest, probably my two favourite bits were Alexia Tarabotti from the Parasol books getting to be a slightly crazy fairy godmother that no one knows quite what to do with. And not an actual fairy, but she basically swans in and goes, right, I'm going to fix this. So, and also there's this character who's been through all the Parasol books, and he's called Major Channing of the Chesterfield Channings, and in all of the books, nobody likes him. He's a terrible person. And in this, he actually ends up adopting Imogen as his little sister, kind of half off the cuff, and she likes him as a big brother, and he keeps offering her food and stuff, and it's hilarious because everyone's like, how do you like him? How? So it actually makes me really excited because the most recent of her supernatural novellas is actually a Major Channing story, which I haven't read yet. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that. And those are the 6 books that I read in August. It was actually not too bad in terms of my goals for the year. I read 1 biography, I read 1 collection of short stories, and I read a book with an LGBT set of protagonists. So that's not bad for having only read 6 books. So yeah, I have an essay due in a week, less than a week. Oh dear. But after that, I'm hoping I should be getting to mid-semester, and so I should have a bit of time off from uni. And so I'm hoping I'm actually going to be reading a lot of stuff, probably a lot of short fiction, because I've recently been overwhelmed at the amount that I have. But I should be back with a winter book haul, because I actually have books now to show after the last 3 months. And yeah, I'll be back for that soon. Bye.